Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is episode 19 of the motorcycle trailer camper conversion project. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Just an overall update, the doors are in. No handles yet or anything, but it's pretty much attached now.
These were quite the project. They had to be, because it turns out that I was correct. The trailer was not built square down at the bottom. In any angle, actually, it's not square this way, it's not square this way. So a lot of adaptations to get it to go. And I'm not saying that my wood structure is perfectly square either, because it's certainly not. It's off by about 2.5 degrees over here, which represents about a 3-inch deviation over the course of 85 inches or so. But basically what I had to do was get these in here. I picked a reference point, which was essentially this one, because it was as straight as possible. I shimmed it out a little bit down at the bottom to account for that weird thing here, which if you all watched episodes like 1, 2, and 3, you saw how the trailer was a little bit weird, and it had a zigzag here that had to be accounted for. That may not be the right word, but still. Shimmed it out, got it as straight as possible at least. Used Timberlock lag screws here, structural screws for that. 2.5-inch ones and I know they say you don't have to pre-drill them, but I pre-drilled them just because it's close to the, well, I pre-drilled these two actually because they're close to the edge on each of them, and then get it in there. And then this one was the beast over here. A lot of planing had to happen. Took a planer, a handheld corded planer, up and down probably 30 times, 40 times, and it took out a lot of the screws, unfortunately, here, or the nails rather. So I got to go through and re-nail this a little bit, and it actually it shaved this 2x2 down so much that it's now like a 1x2. So the nail is long enough to penetrate now. So what I'm going to do, because there's a 2x4 that runs right here and a 2x2 here, or formerly a 2x2, I'll put some nails in here going up, and then I'll drive some in the side as well to marry this to the 2x4 internally. There's a ton of great stuff foam in there that I'm sure has penetrated every single crack. So I'm sure this is all held together nicely, but I mean, the last thing you'd want to do is arrive in camp after a 6-hour drive over bumpy roads and find out that one of your doors has decided to separate. So I'll probably, for good measure, drive a few nails in there today. It'll take 5 minutes. We'll be good. For the rest of today, I think we're going to do the flashings. So I got it. Oh yeah, this one right here. Check this out. So this is custom cut, actually. This was a massive 4x8 treated piece of wood. It weighed a ridiculous amount of pounds. But what I did was I measured the top up here. I measured the distance here, and then I measured the distance down there, and I cut it on a wedge with a skill saw, actually. A first cut, flipped it over, second cut, and then planed it level. And it actually worked beautifully. It was beautiful. Like I said, a 3-inch deviation over the course of 85 inches, right? So 2.5 degrees. So this down here is 3 inches, almost exactly, right here. And this up here is 6 inches, almost exactly. So was able to cut it and fit it, and it provided a fairly decently straight surface for this door to mount on. And then over here, obviously, I had to plane it down a little bit. In fact, you can still see here a little bit where it is touching each other just a little bit still. So what I think has to happen is I need to take a planer on this side a little bit more and shave down a few of these humps here, so that way they're good. Now, if you close them one at a time, the tarp is in the way. It's been raining like crazy the last couple of days. If you close it like that, you can see there is a healthy gap here, and we want that. That is appropriate for the expansion and contraction, and to allow the doors to open and close freely. So what I'll do is I'll put some backing boards in here. I planed this down as well too to give it a little more room, because again, wood expands and contracts a lot when it gets wet and hot or cold and dry, and shrinks. So what I'll do is I'll put some boards here, and then they'll have this, either they'll have the seals on them or the doors will have the seals on them. I haven't decided which, probably the doors. And we'll put liquid rubber on it all, and then when the door closes, it will meet the backer board and seal together. That'll be on the top and on the bottom. On the sides here, the seals will just go on the back here, either here or here. Again, I haven't decided. Probably, well, I don't know. We'll figure that out. But the seals will go here, and when the door closes, it'll marry up with the seal nicely. A backer board on the top, and then to seal up this gap in the middle, what I intend to do is put like a 1-inch by 3-inch board here, and it will ride like this, and there'll be a seal here, and then when the other door closes, it will meet that. Now this door will have one of those on the front, so when it closes, it'll meet like that. So the front and the back both close, and it's double sealed. I intend to have 3 locks on here, one up here, one down there, and one right here, and that's just to hold the doors securely shut. Is it overkill? I don't think so, because all this is custom made and it hasn't been tested before. I am worried about the doors not locking together, and I just want to make sure that everything is as tight as possible. I guess maybe what we'll do is we'll install the middle one first, and then we'll go on from there and see if we need the other 2. Maybe that's how we can do that. So, but for today, what we'll do is most of the flashings. We have this one here. It needs to be cleaned. We got 2 of these. They got dust all over them, and they're wet as it's just rained so much lately. So these will go up front here, right here. There's a long side and a short side and a long side. So the long side will go over here, short side will go over here. Reason for that is the long side will have more sealant on it, just by virtue of its width. And if you imagine you're coming down the road, right, you're driving, the wind is driving this way, so it'll provide a little more resistance in case, you know, there starts to be any separation in there or anything. It'll have 2 or 3 lines of caulk or flashing mate, I guess, silicone glue. And then this one is just really designed to deflect the wind. So long side, short side, it'll be exactly like this except flipped, actually. We put these on too soon. It was a test, and then we just never took them off. But yeah, so that'll have that. And then over here, we still haven't finished this or figured this out exactly. The jack is too close. I built this out too far by about 1 inch or 2. I was trying to maximize the amount of shower space, and in doing so, I literally got this like pressed up against the jack, so there is 0 room back here. I haven't really figured out what to do about that yet. I'm thinking about putting a thin strip of metal behind the jack. So jacking this up with a car jack, taking the jack out, putting a piece of metal back in there, a thin gauge metal, kind of creating an angle here that meets up with it. Bring the wood down to here, and then go from there. And then this will have, these cuts don't have to be exact. I know they look ugly as sin right now, but they don't have to be exact by any stretch of the imagination, because a smaller version of that same flashing is going to go right here, and it'll cover all this up nicely. It was pitch black dark outside when I did this last night, so I'm totally fine with how it turned out. And same thing over here, same thing here. On the sides here, we'll have either a 4x4 flashing or a 4x6 flashing. I haven't decided which yet. It'll sort of depend on the gaps. What I'll do is I'll put some Great Stuff foam in here right before I put the flashing on. Just literally moments before I put the flashing on, I'll put Great Stuff window and door trim foam in here, and that will expand out and it'll help seal the flashing in place. And I had planned to put 6x6 flashing here. However, every store that I can find in California is sold out of 6x6 flashing. There's one online store that's offering to ship it, but the shipping is really expensive, and this stuff is crazy fragile. I have literally no idea how they would ship a 10-foot section of this, let alone 2 or 3 of them, without just bending the crap out of it. So a little bit of a hiccup there. Again, I was planning on putting 6x6, so this is 4x4. So if you imagine 6x6, it would come out another 2 inches. You'd have a lot of nice securement space here, probably be out to here. 6x6 over here would get us at least to the edge of this over here, if not a little bit further. So it really was going to be a great solution, but now I will figure something out. This is not great over here, the amount of space to secure this. It's like, oh, let me lift that up there. It's like a third of an inch at best. Can it be done? Yes. Would I be completely confident that it'll last 10 years? No. So
It'll be good for the first few trips, and then we'll have to replace it.
well, what I do have is 6x4. So I have one side has 6-inch on it. I have that. I actually only have a few of them, but I think I can find that locally here again if I search a little. That I might put the 6-inch side over here and the 4-inch side here, and then just figure something out for this gap as well. I think that's probably a more viable solution.
Quick update. So here is the liquid rubber on the seams of both doors. They're drying right now. It's the first layer right here, and the liquid rubber is basically this thing here, waterproofing patch and seal. It's just painted on basically, and we are about to install the flashing for the front. I made marks here every 2 inches so that the nails are as even as possible.
So now we're getting ready to put the adhesives and the sealants onto the flashing, the back side of it. This, I don't think we've introduced this yet. This is a new toy of ours, a new tool. It is the DeWalt caulk gun, battery operated caulk gun, and we got the adapters so you can either put the 29 ounce large cartridges on it or the 10 ounce small ones, which we've been primarily using for this project. But my arm was just absolutely destroyed after the initial set of caulking on this thing. And in fact, there's a lot of places on it where I probably should have used wood glue, but I didn't, because I just did not have the strength in my arm to pull it. With my hand injury and with the arm not being as great as it used to be, it was just too much. The concept here is going to be to put 2 different products on this for different purposes. One is going to be this extreme stretch, 600% stretch elastomeric compound. That's going to go on the outside here, on the outside edges on both sides. Now that I think of it, I probably shouldn't put that down in the thing like that. So this will go on the outsides, and that is going to help seal the edges. Even if they're flapping in the wind a little bit or vibrating, this should hold really well. And then on the interior of it, I'm going to put flashing sealant, which is actually made for this purpose. That will help provide a last layer of defense of waterproofness should any pinholes or anything form in this. This is really for appearances, this elastomeric compound, keeping that edge flat, whereas this, and it'll provide waterproofing as well too, but that extra big thick bead of flashing sealant behind it is what's going to do the heavy work. So see how it's not even? That's why we put the nails in it. We dialed the pressure way back on this to about the gun's minimum. That way it's not over penetrating. It'll give it kind of a riveted look.
Kyle's gonna cut the edges, and then I'm gonna apply the elastomeric compound on the underside. So now that I finished the glue and the waterproofing sealant on the flashing, Kyle needs to put Great Stuff foam in the hole here. It has to be done right immediately after he puts the foam in. So we basically have a bunch of these to do because every corner of the camper is gonna end up having flashing. So this is the step that we are gonna do. as you've seen already from the previous clip, that we just space out the rivets every 2 inches, and then whatever side sticks to the wood, we put the sealant for waterproofing, and then we put the flashing glue. This is basically flashing glue right here. And then over here, every corner that is exposed has exposed holes. We just fill up the gaps with Great Stuff foam. I'll show you guys the ones that's done right here. That seals it up nicely. So we'll be doing that in every corner. So we're putting on the roof flashing, and you guys can also see that it is pretty much past sunset already. And not quite dark enough to trigger the lights out here yet. But here is what the roof flashing looks like. We got the sides one, these two also. So the fronts, we just need to do this, but we can't really do this until we figure out this area here. So we decide not to do that today because this is gonna take some time. Have to remove that and jack it up with a car jack. In the back of the camper, we're able to do one flashing. The other side, we didn't get a chance to. Over here, Kyle made the mistake of cutting this indentation. He cut it on the other side, so we had to do some reinforcement. No big deal. And then over here, more foam for the edges. The sides that have a little bit of space, we just filled up with more foam, and the edges of the doors are all sealed with liquid rubber. We're also able to put up a flashing for the roof. Oh, there you go. Now the lights turned on because it is dark already. We actually got a lot done today, but as you guys can see, it's starting to get cold and dark. We're gonna keep working, just try to do as much as we can with the flashing, so tomorrow we can do something else, but we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions or just want to say hi, and we'll see you next time. Ride safe, everybody. Bye.